The attacks against the Jewish community now pass without much notice from the media, according to One America's Sinclair, who sat down with a member of the Jewish community to highlight the spread of violence.
How do you believe we got here in the first place? How did we see at least almost one attack a day last week during the holidays?
Part of it is generally the malaise that we find in the city. But there's no question that it's also part of an overall cultural problem that we're confronting in our society.
President Trump recently signed an executive order that would potentially help those in the Jewish community who are younger and in college campuses. How do you think that the mayor reacted to this by saying that it's actually the hate is coming from the president, but he's doing things to actually stop the violence?
What President Trump did was exactly correct. It was to expand protection for Jews on college campuses, because Jews were never protected the way other minorities were protected on college campuses because of what's called a lacuna, a gap in the law. So now Jews are protected. There is literally no rational, reasonable way to interpret that as anything but helping protect young Jews on college campuses. There is no.
That's not
and
how
yet,
it was interpreted.
Correct. And yet, no, the New York Times launched an offensive against this. They did at least a dozen pieces. Well, I shouldn't say at least a dozen. I remember I lost count to 10, but I think there were more pieces making up a story, a complete fabrication, a complete fiction about why this is really bad for Jews.
What is the overall feeling in the Jewish community right now about the Trump administration and their efforts?
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Caitlin, but a national Orthodox magazine called Ami Magazine, which means my people or my nation, did a national poll of Orthodox Jews on a very short list of questions. One of those questions was, whom do you trust more to fight anti-Semitism in America? Donald Trump and the Republicans, or Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats? And it was like 92 or 93% said Donald Trump and the Republicans, and maybe 1% said Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. When Donald Trump speaks out against anti-Semitism, and this is, of all the lies about the president, the worst lie for me is the lie that he doesn't denounce anti-Semites, he doesn't denounce white supremacists. There has never been an American leader, I don't think there's ever been a world leader, who has denounced Jew hatred as clearly, as unequivocally, as repeatedly as Donald Trump from the beginning.
Is it a real problem that this community is running from America and going back to Israel?
Oh, it's early, but people are talking about it all the time. People talk about it all the time. Where are we going to run to next? Should we run to Israel? Are there other places we could run to? That's crazy. This is the United States of America. I am against living in a country, living in a city where we have to be in fear for our lives because our politicians refuse to acknowledge the reality of anti-Semitism, because instead they use it to exploit us and send us false messages and lies, and not just the politicians, but the media also.
Well, thank you for coming in and sharing these thoughts with me and representing your community, and I really hope that we see a day where this violence just doesn't exist anymore.
Amen. Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.